Hey, what's up, Kid Life? It's Miss Sarah, and I have Mr. Sam with me again to tell this story. So this month we've been talking about God's creativity and how it is on display all around us. We see it in the Bible, and we see it in the people He created, and you and me. And we are actually going to start talking about the life of Jesus. And when He was walking this earth, He performed so many miracles. He did amazing things. And there was a guy named Mark that recorded a lot of those things in Jesus' lifetime. And a lot of the things that he found, we can read about them in a book that he wrote that's in the Bible.
It's called
You'll
One
never
Foot,
guess.
2 Foot. No, I'm just kidding. It's that one.
You'll never guess what it's called.
Mark.
So we're going to talk about a story that comes from Mark chapter 2 today.
2. Well, what happened in this story is super cool. But first, we have to understand that Jesus, when He did a miracle, and a miracle is something that no one else can do. It's impossible for you or me, but for God, He was able to do it through Jesus. And so He would heal someone, or He would do something that was just impossible for others, and people were like, my mind is blown. And they were like, I want to see Jesus. Like, I've got to see Him. And so, guess what? They went to see Him. And anytime they heard that Jesus was in town, that's where everyone went. Well, guess what? There were too many people. And so it'd be a small town with a whole bunch of people, and He couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't talk to people because they were all crowding in around Him.
Kind of like when you're in line, like waiting for your lunch in the cafeteria, and all the kids are like trying to see what's on the...
Yeah, is it chicken nuggets today? Yeah? Is it corn dogs?
Was it more crowded than that?
More crowded than that.
Oh.
Imagine like a bouncy house, but with all the kids from your school. That's sweaty. Yeah, speaking of sweaty. So, long story short, there were a ton of people that wanted to see Jesus, but they couldn't all fit together. And so, He would go into the wilderness, like way out in the boonies, and still crowds would show up. But this one day, He's in the city, and people find out He's there, and they start crowding around because they want to hear what He says, and they want to see what He's going to do. And that's where our story picks up in Mark 2.
So in this place where Jesus was teaching, it was called Capernaum. And Jesus was in a house on this day. And there was someone in this city that really wanted to see Jesus. I can imagine every time that he heard Jesus was around, him wanting to get there. But, he couldn't get there because he couldn't walk.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. But one thing this guy did have was 4 amazing friends. And these 4 amazing friends decided to do something for him. They said, we're going to get you to Jesus, no matter what it takes. And so they picked him up, and they carried him on this mat, and they brought him to where Jesus was. But they couldn't get inside. They could barely even get around. The people that were there listening to Jesus, I can imagine they couldn't even really hear what He was saying. They were determined that they were going to get their friend to Jesus. And I can imagine that everyone there knew who this guy was. They knew that he couldn't walk. They knew him from their city. And these friends, I'm going to need you to do something as I tell you this. I need you to use those creative minds of yours, close your eyes, and I want you, no peeking.
No peeking.
Mr. Sam's not making funny faces.
No.
So no peeking.
Not picking my nose either. Not this time.
Okay, close your eyes. And I want you to imagine
Wait,
the sounds.
I think someone's opened their eyes. Make sure they're closed.
Keep them closed.
All right, we're watching.
All right. So, the sounds that you could hear when this was happening. The friends climb on top of the roof. And then when they get to the top of the roof, they start to make a place in the roof that they can bring him through. Listen to what you would hear. And then they lower him down. The crowd was probably freaking out. But Jesus, He was impressed by their faith. Let's listen to what He said.
Son, Your sins are forgiven.
Now, the teachers of the law were there, and they knew that only God could forgive sins. And they didn't believe that Jesus was the Son of God. Listen to what Jesus said to them, because he knew what they were thinking.
Why are you thinking these things? Is it easier to say to this man, your sins are forgiven, or to say, get up, take your mat and walk? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins.
All right. This is just amazing what is happening. I want you to open your eyes because I want to tell you.
Hey, they're back.
Hey, we're still here.
Good.
I want to tell you what Jesus did. He wasn't done. He looked at the man and he said, get up, take your mat, and go home. This man that hadn't walked was able to get up on his 2 feet and walk for the first time. I can imagine that everyone couldn't believe their eyes.
Oh, yeah. Again.
And then what happened?
Well, everyone, like we said, they were amazed and they were giving God the credit that he deserved. They said this could only happen when God did a miracle through Jesus. And it was an incredible day. But one thing that we want you to remember in this story, again, 1, God is amazing and God can do miracles. But 2, when we work together, we can use our creativity for so much better than just by ourselves. God has created us to work with others. And that's the cool story, is this man couldn't walk. He couldn't get to Jesus, but his friends together said, no, but we can get to Jesus. So when you're going through a hard time, when you're lonely, when your brother or sister, maybe they're kind of, I don't know, doing what brothers and sisters do and they're getting on your nerves, guess what? You have friends and they can help you through those situations.
And when you see needs around you, get with your friends. Use the creativity that God has given you to work together to figure out how to solve those problems or meet those needs that people around you have. Because God's created us to work together.